Ozzy's camera shot. Aunt Ozzy, I want you to talk to us about the family tree. Will you come over with my mother and talk about the family tree? Let's go.
Well, you're...
Mom, is your neck hurt?
My neck? No,
I
have to see through my bifocals.
Oh, I see. Now, what are we looking at?
The root of the tree is Edward Elbekian. That's Ozzy's grandfather, my great-great-grandfather. And he was born in 1853, died in 1947 at the age of 96.
He was 96.
He was 96 when he died.
Which is good. Which is a good sign for all of us.
Well, I would say, if we can live to 96, I would say that's a good long life. And he didn't look his age at all. He looked like...
How old did he look?
60-ish.
60-ish.
Oh, I have pictures. In fact, I have a...
Mom, you look.
The only thing was that he was bald. Other than that, his face was smooth.
What's that? Was he bald?
Yeah, completely bald, but he was so wonderful. I used to love to play with his bald head.
Well, we have baldness in our family, don't we, Mom? Well, that's Jerry.
No, I think my Uncle John, that's our family,
yes,
that's
right.
Balayan. And I think his, I don't know where he got it from, but no, it skips a generation.
His daughters aren't.
No.
Okay.
So this is the family tree. Now this is Ozzy's mother. She was the baby of the family. And Ozzy just told me recently that her mother supported 7 people doing whatever she could. She had the gift of handicrafts, and she
would sell her handicrafts.
She would repair rugs for other people, or she would do caning and probably lacework and who knows what else. Whatever would create a support system for their family is what she would do. Now, Elizad, who is a very strong, and in Armenian we say jarbig, which is a very, very...
what is the word?
Jarbig in Armenian.
Jarbig.
And what would be the English word equivalent? What would be the English equivalent to jarbig?
Clever.
Clever. She was...
adaptable.
Adaptable. That is the word.
It's
adaptable.
A combination of
being clever and adaptable. Very flexible. She's able to handle all situations. Her brother, 2 children, because her brother died at a young age. Her daughter, Ozzy, and her brother, Puzant, Ozzy's brother, Puzant.
So she supported all of these people.
She did, and she was a widow. She had no husband. Her husband was killed in the massacres in 1915, which is a very sad thing, but you know, if you have an attitude and you're not a defeatist, and she didn't have a defeatist attitude, she was a real survivor, and she was able to overcome all the tragedies of life. And she raised this beautiful lady.
I was born after my father was massacred.
Her mother was pregnant when her father died, was massacred by the Turks in 1915 massacre.
I was born.
And Ozzy was born
January 1st, 1916.
1960. Would you believe it? Now look at this lady.
Born in 1916.
1916.
Which is before television.
She's a baby.
She's a baby. How old are you?
1914.
Oh my God! 1914.
How old are you?
1929. I'm only 59. Ozzy did not marry, but she has 2 wonderful nephews. There's Tommy and George. That's Puzant's children. Puzant married Evelyn. Evelyn and Puzant had Tommy and George, and now we have a Tommy Jr. who's running around here, and you'll find Tommy the father with his son somewhere.
There he is.
Eating. Come here, Tom. Come over here. We're talking about your branch of the family. So this is the result of good genes. This is what happens.
Those are very nice jeans, as a matter of fact.
Very nice.
I don't see Gene.
Nice keys.
And then we have another branch of the family, and that's Rebecca, which is our branch of the family. That's your great-grandmother. Your great-grandmother had 4 children. Shinorit, Varsanik, your grandmother, Haripsime, her younger sister, and her younger brother, John, who is Ohanik in Armenian. So Shinorit we call Beatrice, who never married, but she had her master's degree from Chicago University, which was very unusual in those days to have a college degree for a woman. My mother had married George McGarrion, my father, and had 2 children. My sister Mary, who is the eldest, and who had 2 children. She married Leah Tarian, and the 2 children, of course, is Mary Lee, who married Harris Bass, and Carol, who married William Jones. Mary Lee had Mandy, Carol has Kristen. And
of course, the youngest child.
And the youngest child had 4 children. And of course, the youngest child has Laurie, Gary, Robert, and Jane. Laurie is married to Timothy Smith, and our first grandchild is Mark Patrick Smith. So there's Haripsameh, who has 2 children, Edward and Armin, both married, both with 2 children. Armin has 2 sons, David and Jeremy, and Edward has Wendy and Susan. And here we go with the youngest son, John, who has 3 children, Joanne, John, and Elizabeth. Joanne has Lauren and Erica. She's married to Ira Crow. Elizabeth is not married yet, and there we are with John, who married Sandy. John Jr. married Sandy. They have Ariana and Lorian. And that just about completes the family tree, except for the Balayans, who's a shoot from Hamparsum Balayan. This is a brother who is married to Sirma, and they had Puzant, who had Elizabeth, 1 child. Elizabeth has 1 child and 1 on the way. Peter is born in 1985, and we don't know whether it'll be a boy or a girl, but any moment now, there'll be another child on the family tree. And that completes the full tree until next year, when we hope there'll be more weddings and more children.
Well, we know within minutes there'll be a new child.
Well, that we're sure of.
Elizabeth.
That we're sure of, but what will happen to the other children who aren't married, we don't know. And we hope that they'll be as successful and as happy as we are.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, that just about completes it.